So in this chapter we'll be discussing about law of diminishing marginal utility. So this unit is about economics, so let us understand some key concepts of economics. So one of the key concepts is law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, so in economics, utility refers to satisfaction, the total satisfaction that is received from consuming a good or a service, because this is a very important concept because it directly influences the demand, okay, and therefore the price. And the unit of measurement is utils. Say for example, I am very hungry and say I eat a puff, and say the utility I derive from that puff is 100 utils. Okay, so consumer behavior theory assumes that consumers will strive to maximize their utility. They always want to maximize their utility. For example, I want to go to a movie, so an English action film will give me 250 utils, while a Hindi sentimental film will give me 300 utils. So as per consumer behavior theory, I will choose the option that will give me more utility. So I go to the Hindi film. Okay. So there is a concept called marginal utility. This is the additional or incremental utility that I get as a consumer by consuming an additional product. So say for example, I was very hungry and I ate a puff that gave me a utility of 100 utils. But now I'm still hungry. I want to eat another puff. Now you'll agree that the satisfaction that I got from the first puff when I was very hungry, the satisfaction that first puff gave me would be much greater than the satisfaction the second puff gave me, because initially I was very hungry, and after I ate the first puff, my hunger decreased to some extent. I still want to eat more, but it is the hunger has decreased. Now if I eat a third puff, it will give me much lesser satisfaction. So say the second puff has given me only 80 utils. Okay, let us say the third puff gave me only 50 utils. Okay, so this additional utility from the incremental utility I get from by consuming the second puff is the incremental utility. The additional utility is 30 utils. So what is this utils? It is the marginal utility. This is what we're defining as marginal utility. This is a change in utility you get as an additional unit is consumed. So there is a very important law in economics called a law of diminishing marginal utility. It states that as a person increases consumption of a product, okay, there will be a decline in the marginal utility. Okay, so marginal utility may decrease to negative utility also, in which case it is entirely unfavorable to consume another unit. Okay, so just the basic definition, if you can remember, that will be sufficient. The law of marginal utility, it states that as a consumer keeps on consuming a product, the additional utility he keeps deriving from each additional unit keeps on decreasing. Ultimately it became even zero. Okay, so just remember the questions: what is meant by utility, what is marginality, and what is the law of diminishing marginal utility.